All right, Jers, Matt Gannon, we are back. It's Zurich Classic week. It's LIV Adelaide week. Maybe not the most exciting week of the year, Jers. We're going to do our best to make this an intriguing and exciting pod, as we always do. How are you doing? How's your weekend? How's RBC? How's Corrales? How you doing?
Yeah, first off, let's start it with a big happy birthday to Adam, our host and owner of Zurich, and congratulations, Billy Horschel. You don't put a 2 in front of Billy's name at the Corrales. Everyone knows it. Should have been free money for us all. Adam pulled the trigger, got the W, another outright for the team. So, yeah, a fun weekend of golf. There was a lot of golf all over the place. Scottie got it done, which we'll get to. And, yeah, just congrats to you on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and thank you for the happy birthday. Nothing more I'd want to do on my birthday than talk some Zurich Classic and some LIV Adelaide. But yeah, shout out to Billy Ho. Officially goes into my book as like one of my favorite golfers. You deliver me a victory the day before my birthday. We love it. We'll take it. And I think I've bet Billy Ho. I don't know if I'm up on Billy Ho.
Really?
Like, I'm with this win. Well, like I think I probably am because like I don't think I've bet him 20 times, but I'm a big Billy Ho better. I think I bet him at Houston a couple weeks ago. So I'm glad that like I would have felt really bad to have missed this one. So I was glad to hit him. Before we dive in, as always, like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. If you're listening to the Zurich Classic pod or watching on YouTube, you're a diehard. You're one of us. You're a ball knower. So toss the subscribe on there. Throw the like on there. It'll help us get this out in front of more people who are ball knowers as well. Let's start with RBC, Jers, because we came on here and we said we don't think Scottie's going to win. Obviously, the odds would have said he's the favorite. We agreed with that, but we didn't feel like it was the type of course necessarily that set up for somebody being the favorite to win the tournament. Now, obviously, Scottie can win at any course, but historically, this has been a tightly bunched leaderboard. There's been a lot of random names in the mix, and we kind of saw that for the opening 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But by the time honestly, the 3rd round ended, even though he was only up by 1 at that point, it seemed like it was over. There's no superlatives that could possibly describe what he's doing, but Matt, try to describe what Scottie's doing right now.
The fact that he only got 9 holes of practice in earlier in the week, shot 70 in round 1, did not, or 69, sorry, it was par 71. 69 in round 1, did not look great, shanked a shot out of the hosel, out of the bunker, and like did not look like himself at all, and still got it done. Just went nuclear Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And yeah, I thought it was we were off to the races. It was going to be a great event because after Scottie, there was a million names bunch, and it would have been an elite finish, even if it was on Monday morning. Would have been awesome to wake up to that finish today, potential playoff. But Scottie didn't give us that yet again. But then I have no beef with Scottie. Like I lost money, you lost money. We're witnessing generational stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask, and I'll get to that question in a second. I was just looking at his stats here. I hadn't really dove into them
ball
quite
striking
yet.
Savant.
Unbelievable ball striking.
Display.
An absolute display. He barely breaks even with the short game, just barely gains anything. And the crazy part about that is that like I looked at the leaderboard on maybe midway through Saturday, and every other guy near the top of the board was just minting strokes on the greens. Like so many strokes gained on the greens. And there was Scottie, negative. There was Ludwig. Like he was the only other guy up there who wasn't doing it with the putting. And as you said with the bunch leaderboard, like below Scottie is how the RBC leaderboard normally looks. That's what we would have expected with all these guys in the mix. Somebody sneaks through. There's a playoff. It's going to be close. There's all these names. I mean, I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't pay attention this morning. I didn't even know Teagues was second. Shout out to Teagues for getting the solo second there. But I've seen some frustration, some anger on golf Twitter. You know, what do we do with Scottie? How do we bet? Do we bet the without Scottie markets? And it's kind of funny because I also have friends, maybe you do as well, who like aren't golf bettors really. Like they're not building a card. They don't care that much. Yeah. They've just been betting Scottie every week. And they're saying this is the greatest thing that's ever happened for them. So like, how do you feel about it? And I know you said you have no beef. I don't think I do either, but like, it's kind of funny seeing that the everyday average person is probably just betting Scottie every week. And it's like 4-1. Like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. Cause like you can hit a 4-1 hit or a 5-1 hit in any other sport is like, wow, how did we do this? Like, it's like a same game parlay and like NBA, and like it's so hard to hit. Whereas Scottie, like, oh, this is easy. Why don't I just bet on this guy every week? But it's just crazy because our circles are really starting to hate Scottie. And I also said this last week, and Tiger Woods did a lot of maybe questionable things in his career, and he's still the most loved golfer of all time. I think the only thing that could have stopped Tiger Woods' overall greatness and love of everyone is if golf betting communities were around then. That's the only thing that could have stopped Tiger's greatness, because he did a lot of questionable stuff off the golf course, got himself into some troubles, and he's still
truly, from the perspective of like what we know of Scottie as a person, I think he's definitely above Tiger in the like like just being a good guy like off the course.
Right.
Now, I love Tiger, and that's not like a slander to Tiger. It's just like to your point about Scottie,
yeah,
like,
just a
not
fact
gonna,
fiction.
even though he as a person appears to be just like an awesome dude, and all the other players are in every interview they're like, we love Scottie, like he's been the greatest dude forever, like he's always been like this on and off the course. And it really, like, it's even hard to know what to say about it at this point, because it's I feel we're obviously in the midst now of something that, like, sure, could it continue on for years? Maybe. But like, I almost said this, I forgot to say this after the Masters too. Like, we look back on these guys, the Rorys and Spieth, and they had these moments where like they'll never lose again, or like they're going to win so many majors, or like this is the greatest thing ever. And obviously, I think what Scottie's doing over these last 2 months is in a different stratosphere than I think any like run that those guys may have had. But still, like, Rory's got 4 majors, Spieth has a handful of majors. Like, obviously Brooks had his run. Where do you put this Scottie like run as of this moment? Not necessarily like what it could be, because no matter how good a player is, we've seen these things ebb and flow, and I don't think that's going to happen to Scottie. But like, just freeze today, and where do you put what he's done versus some of those?
I mean, I honestly do think there will be a decent like slowdown from Scottie. It's just how the game works. That happens in every single sport. Studs break out, stars break out, have their year to 1 to 4 years, and then they come back down to earth. Who knows what this baby's going to do to Scottie? But I think for these last 2-3 years, what he's doing from a legitimate strokes gain standpoint is unquantifiable, because it's truly on par with prime Tiger years. Whereas Rory, Jordan, all those guys had their great years. They were winning tournaments, sure, but they didn't come close to those numbers. Now, like, Tiger is looking back, like, these are numbers that are touching mine in terms of stats, whereas other guys, maybe not so much.
And I think, like, this isn't to take away anything from Scottie. Obviously, he just won the Masters against a bunch of LIV guys, and they're really, besides Bryson, wasn't like a LIV guy truly in the mix. It has to be said, I'm not saying asterisk, I'm not Taylor Gooch, and it just, I think it has to be said that some of the biggest name, most competitive top players in the world aren't playing the PGA Tour week in and week out. And I think there's certain courses, obviously, that certain guys set up better for, that like are on LIV. You know, 1 week it might be a Cam Smith course, and the next week it might be a Bryson course. Like, there would be a guy or two, I think, each week that like would be maybe getting
at least giving him some like,
because we've been saying
lapping the fields.
Yeah, and that's what we've been saying now for the last month. It's just like no one on the PGA Tour is of the caliber to touch him over 4 rounds. It's just like you give him 4. None of these tournaments are even close. He's winning easily. None of these tournaments were even close on the back 9. They've been.
You know what I'm actually gonna do now that you said that? I have a bunch of like winner graphics. I got Scottie over there. I'm getting a Steven Yeager one. I am getting a massive Steven Yeager Houston Open poster back here, because that ticket is going to go down in a museum in the middle of this Scottie run. Yeags is the one who got it done. So I agree with you. Everyone he's just lapping everyone. No one came close. Like, we wake up for a Monday finish, like the last few Monday finishes. There's just sometimes a sweat. Like, remember Pebble? I guess Cognizant wasn't that great of a few months ago, but it was just Scottie won. Like, he just woke up and won.
The chip shot that he hit yesterday on 2 when he chipped in for eagle, because I was getting ready. I wanted to watch Corrales, obviously, because I had Billy Ho in the mix, and like I had no one in the mix, and I figured Scottie was going to win. So I was watching on Golf Channel. I had it on. I wasn't really paying attention, and I was like chatting with my girlfriend, and he chipped in. I literally yelled like out. My girlfriend was like, "What happened?" And I was like, "That was one of the most unbelievable shots I've ever seen." Like, I thought, like, okay, he can get up and down from here, maybe get it 5-6 feet. To make it from there, the way it like
dripping speed, like stupid.
But what I wish, and I don't think this is ever going to be who he is, and that's fine. Like, I'm not the type of, I don't have the take that like Scottie needs to be like fist pumping and doing all that stuff. Like, do you, Scottie? You're playing unbelievable. Let that speak for itself. That's fine. And we talked last week about how, like, to some degree, it's up to the tour to like market him, because he's not going to do it himself. But like,
I think they're starting to.
Yeah, I mean, I would, if they're not, like,
yeah,
like I don't even know what to say. But like, imagine that chip in but also with like a running fist pump with it.
Oh.
Like it would be so sick, but that's just never what he's going to do.
Yeah, like seeing that clip from like 5 years down the line, like in the middle of Scottie's run, we get like an E60 on it, and like, yeah, that would be sick.
Because he literally didn't even do anything. He just turned to Ted and was like, "This game's pretty fucking easy."
Just nodded, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool,
so,
Scottie.
Oh, and I was going to say one more thing on Scottie and the marketing angle, and I saw you responded to him. I think obviously, I doubt Portnoy saw it. We're not boys with Portnoy. We're not at that level, but he's doing more to like advertise Scottie in the PGA Tour than honestly anyone that I've seen in a long time, because like he's obviously only betting Scottie. He's like all in on Scottie, but there's so many people out there who would never bet on golf who just are going to tail Portnoy and bet on Scottie, and like that's going to draw in. So I think that honestly is one of the best things going for Scottie right now.
100%. Love or hate Dave Portnoy, love or hate Barstool Sports. It is eyes, and he's the most honest guy in the world. He's saying it for what it is. He's like, what the hell is this coverage? What are we doing? Stuff we've been saying and complaining about for years as golf fans. He could be our eyes. He could be our voice for getting our. It's just so frustrating because we complain all the time, and Dave Portnoy is just out there seeing it in real time. Could be huge for the game.
And I think there's something too that we've talked about, and I think we try to like bring this vibe to the pod where like we, for the most part, like all the golfers. Like we don't have legit like beef with anyone, but you hit a shitty shot, you play bad, you don't have dog, you don't have heart, like we're gonna say it. He does that too. Like he was shitting on Scottie at the Masters over all that stuff, which adds like that draws in more fans. And I'm sure I'd be surprised if the PGA Tour like leans into any Barstool Portnoy stuff just because like they're not like they just don't do that type of stuff. But I think it's interesting and good for like we talked about last week. We need the advertising. You mentioned Portnoy last week, and to continue this week, it's obviously an aside, but it's anything that gets golf in front of more people and gets the average fan excited about what Scottie's doing. I think we got to be excited about that.
Yeah, and not often do they have pressure transcripts from like the heads ground guy or the head weather guy, which they did for yesterday. They asked him, why didn't we move up the tee times? And I'm not sure if that would have happened if like Dave Portnoy maybe didn't voice it on Twitter. Because I mean, sure, here and there they'll have something, but yeah, that was interesting. And they said that they didn't see the thunderstorms coming into play, but the weather forecast was what it was. It was still going to be rain. Like there's 69 golfers on the course. You can finish the round. It's absurd.
Yeah, like at that point, I was watching Corrales. I wasn't even following that closely, but then I think I saw No Laying Up's tweet saying like it's going to be bad weather, and I was like, oh, here we go again, situation. But the last thing on Scottie that I'll say is like when I was watching, because I watched a fair amount of the Saturday round and I guess the opening handful of holes on Sunday, and it's the same thing we see every single week. His driving is just so good. Like obviously his full tee to green game is sick. His approach is amazing. We talk about his around the green play all the time, but like it's all set up with the driving because it's long and straight on every single hole. And then like, because his approach and around the green is both so good, he's either going to hit a laser beam iron shot that gives him a good birdie look, or he might miss the green and he could easily chip in every single time. So it's like, but I don't think enough gets talked about just of how elite of a driver he is, because he's not sending it 400 yards off the tee. Right. This isn't Bryson or Rory just swinging out of their shoes. He gained 5.2 off the tee this week, easily first in the field.
Third in the field in accuracy.
Yeah, and he was the distance.
And he hit a lot of drivers. He hit a lot of drivers too.
Yeah,
crazy.
So I think, and that's just the piece that's like, it's there every week. That's the like foundation of the whole thing, and I don't think it gets talked about enough because it's so good. He tees off. He looks at it for a second the same way every single time and picks up his tee. And we talked about it in the final round at Players and API when like that was the difference. He was the only guy who could drive it in the fairways.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in like total driving is the biggest corollary stat to success. And all the best players in the world are the best total drivers, both long and straight. And like that's why I was so high on Ludwig when he was coming up, because that was like what he was doing consistently every week, just driving it long and straight. So, but I agree with you. He was hitting more drivers than a lot I thought he would at Harbortown, and it paid off. He didn't miss.
Let's quickly go down the board. You mentioned Ludwig. I didn't realize he finished T10. He was obviously up there for a while. Teagues. We've been talking about Teagues. You play Teagues at Teagues courses. He continues to look like one of the top 5 to 10 players on the PGA Tour week in and week out. There's Windy C right there again. Came charging up there in the final round. Looked like he might have like a pebble round going there for a second. Doesn't quite work out. And then Pat Cantlay, of course, he treats getting the tartan jacket from RBC Heritage will mean more to Cantlay than getting a green jacket. He picks up another third place finish. Any guys that maybe those three, any thoughts? Any guys jumped out a little bit lower down the board, but just Windy, he continues that every time it's a big event, he's there.
Yeah, I mean, I like JT's finish. Sunday, 65, finished T5 and gained strokes in every category. I thought that was very encouraging. I bet JT last week at like 55 to 1. Obviously, had no chance to win, but I think that was very encouraging from JT. I have to say when I say the wrong things, I said Patrick Rogers had no chance to finish inside the top 10 this week. I said Patrick Rogers cannot gain enough strokes on approach to finish inside the top 10 at Harbour Town. He lost strokes on approach this week, and he actually led the field in putting. So I guess I'm wrong about that because he ended up finishing inside the top 10, but he did it all with a putter. So shout out to you, P. Raj, making me look dumb.
Yeah, hand up. We'll always own bad takes, and it was funny because you wrote you do the write ups on Vincerix every week, and usually there's thoughts and things about a player, but you specifically called out P. Raj and were like he cannot finish in the top 10, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, he gained infinity strokes with the putter. I think he chip in for or hit a bunker shot in for eagle
on number 9.
Yeah, yesterday. But
so did Xander.
That to your point on JT, actually, I am sure that this take is something that is like too obvious where we're not going to get any value on him, but he's from Louisville. We got Valhalla next month. The PGA is his major, finally gaining with the putter and gaining across the bag because the tee to green's been there most of the year. I agree with you. That's a good performance from JT and one to keep an eye on as we get closer to the PGA.
I mean, a year or two ago, JT was the guy at Valhalla. Everyone was like lining up to play JT in this US PGA Championship. Sorry, and he's obviously won a PGA Championship, and now it's kind of starting to rub off. But I wonder if that's gonna circle back. I wonder if it'll be popular because I do agree with you.
I'm sure it's gonna be one of those where JT's like 22 to 1, and it's just like it ends up being even. I mean, I could see him being less than that just because like we've been seeing these guys that are obvious getting just hammered. Shout out Posty, my close personal friend and acquaintance, JT Post and Best Boys. It was great to see him up there. Another strong finish for Posty. Sepp, I think I quickly talk about Sepp because he showed another element of the Scottie situation. Guys are not, I don't know if afraid's the right word, but they know Scottie's going to beat them. And we've seen it. We saw Colin in the final round last week make some just really dumb mistakes. Sepp very early on making mistakes, especially right after Scottie hold that eagle was a couple holes later when he had that incident around the greens for Sepp. So obviously Sepp's not of the quality of player where you would expect him to, be matched up and take down Scottie in the final round, but he showed some dog in final rounds against good players. I thought that was interesting just to see him so quickly kind of disappear. And I genuinely think part of it is these guys playing with Scottie. It's just like, how can I keep up with this? It gets in your head when you're trying to win a golf tournament.
I do agree. This was the Sepp's best result of his season so far. So definitely encouraging. Did gain in all the categories I'd want him to gain in on approach, off the tee, and putting. So Sepp going forward, you play him on shorter Bermuda golf courses. So that checks out.
I've also need to do a couple apologies. One specifically. I come on here a lot and I say bets are terrible bets. I say that's a terrible bet. I said it about Tommy last week, Xander at the Masters, and usually those are right. I don't think I've ever said this is a terrible outright bet and then that player's won the tournament. I came on here and said that Cam Young at 30 to 1 was a good bet. That was a horrible, horrible, horrible bet. Hand up. Awful bet. You don't bet Cam Young below 800 to 1 ever again. That's my new number for Cam Young.
Did you bet him? You did.
800 to 1 is where I'll be in on Cam Young. Not a serious golfer, an absolute terrible golfer, and a terrible bet. And I apologize to anybody who tailed me on Cam Young last week.
Yeah, like he got off to a great start, shot 67 and like played the par fives like an asshole. And then he just went backwards. I didn't track him over the weekend. I saw he shot 76 on Saturday, but that was a pathetic performance from Cam Young. But I do have to say, we did say the two worst bets on the board were Tommy Fleetwood and Cam Davis, and those came to fruition. So we'll pat ourselves in the back for that. But Cam Young, 800 to 1.
It was great because like I do obviously when I come and I say like this is a horrible bet. I obviously don't want that guy to win. I don't want to be clipped, even though I've said, go ahead, clip it. Like I deserve it if it goes wrong. It's been great the last 2 weeks that Xander was instantly over par at Augusta and like out of the mix. And Tommy was I like opened the app to check the scores for the first time. And Tommy still wasn't even close. Terrible performance for him. Overall, my bets at RBC were not good at all. And I actually am happy about that because I didn't want to have anybody in the mix against Scottie. That would just piss me off and make me angry. Instead, though, I did have Billy Ho down at Corrales. Quickly, just want to, again, shout out. I texted you guys. I texted multiple people who don't bet on golf. And I said, bet Billy Ho at Corrales because it was one of the most disrespectful numbers I think I've ever seen. Like, and we texted about it before, and I wasn't sold on this take, but I had to kind of lean this way that like the accomplished and proven, or at least have done stuff on the PGA Tour for an extended period of time, guys, versus these very weak and like KFT heavy fields, and are the plays. And we saw it, like that leaderboard down the stretch was Billy Ho. Obviously, Wesley Bryan doesn't count. Like that was a miracle from him. But like Kevin Tway's a winner on the PGA Tour. Lauer's been playing good on the PGA Tour. Chuck Hoffman was up there. Like none of the young stud like KFT guys were even close to it.
Yeah, I do agree. And I regret not betting Billy Horschel. I bet him first round leader. I should have I don't know why I just didn't bet him outright because I trust him over 4 rounds against these guys. Especially that Sunday 63. That was just insane. I had Taylor Pendrith. He was 1 stroke. I think he was tied with Billy Horschel going into the final round, actually, and just shot over par. Like, how do you shoot over par on this golf course? Pathetic effort from Pendy. And then besides that, didn't really have anyone else in the mix, but guts from Billy Ho. And Wesley impressed me so much. He did not like back down at all. He shot 63, 66, 70, and then still shot 4 under in on Sunday with the solo lead. Like that's usually gets it done. But Billy Horschel, Sunday 63, cashew ticket. So when did you start thinking it was live? When he started like 2 under,
that's what I was about to say. Because like obviously the alt events you can't really follow in the app. Like I don't even try to really like see like, oh, you know, shot 2 from fairway. It's just like I don't care. Like I'm just gonna check the app every once in a while. So he played good the whole week. He was up there, and I knew I felt as good as you can feel about a guy tied like for 5th, 3 shots back going into the final round, just because like none of these other guys have any stones. And I was like, maybe Billy just gets hot. I opened up the app after the first hole, and he was even, and I was like, I wanted a birdie on 1, to be honest. And then I didn't check again until hole 6, and then he was tied for the lead. I was like, oh, sick. We're like,
okay, we're in it now.
We're in. I was like, we're live. So I was excited about that. And that's when I was going to do some stuff yesterday for my birthday in the afternoon. And I was like, I'm still going to do some stuff, but I'm watching Billy Ho final round because like Billy Ho winner on your birthday. I want to see it. And the very first thing they show is Billy's approach into the par 5, and he hits it on the green. He had like 30 feet for eagle, and then he made that like 30-footer. And they'd also just showed his highlights on the front 9. He was just making every putt, and he proceeded to make every single putt the rest of the round. It was honestly one of the best like outright winner watches I've ever had because every time he putted, it was going in. And it got to the point where even from 15 feet, I was like, we've got a good shot of like making these. And he was just making every single one. So it was honestly one of the more fun like sweats because he went from like kind of tied, maybe even a shot back at the turn to I was able to tweet out the Vic lap before the other guys even finished their rounds. Because
that's incredible. That is, I wasn't watching. I was tracking though. I was definitely pulling for you because I didn't have anyone in the mix. But it was just funny watching Billy versus Wesley Bryan. Like that's just a whole. Okay,
Wesley Bryan. I doubt anybody was watching. Billy Ho had a par putt on 17 from like 8 feet coming up, and Wes was putting for birdie from like 50 feet, a few holes back. And like if he had 2 putted and Billy had missed, it would have been 1 shot. And like there was a chance, they make a birdie, but Billy Ho could bogey 18. He legs his putt up, he marks it, cleans his ball, sets it back down, and misses the tap in before Billy hits his par putt. And I was like, this is unbelievable. This is fucking awesome. And then Billy made his putt, and at that point it was over. But like he literally legged up a putt on 15.
Did not know that.
Marked it, like quickly, like cleaned his ball off, set it back down. I wasn't even paying attention. It's like you see a guy leg it up, you don't even care. And next thing I knew, he was on the other side of the hole putting again.
Tapping it.
And I was like, we're golden. Cash it. So shout out Wes Bryant for doing that.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
But we got the Zurich Classic. I will say, first of all, no beef with this event. I mean, I do have beef with this event, actually, if I'm being honest. My biggest beef is how can we get rid of the match play
I was going to
and
say
keep
that.
this event? It's absolutely disgusting. It is a disgrace. So that's my beef with Zurich. The event by itself, if we still had the match play, like I'm cool with it. We can have the Zurich, but we can't have the Zurich and not have the match play. That is unacceptable. I'll be honest with you. I have done 10 minutes of research so far on the Zurich Classic. I know you wrote up some guys. I know you had guys in the mix last year. So you at least have a feel for this event. I'm going to turn to you almost exclusively for the keys. And like, obviously vibes is a huge key, but maybe in a more serious sense, like are there stats? Are there like things about this course that matter? Like hit me with those and then we'll do vibes for pretty much the rest.
Yeah, definitely strokes gained approach, birdie making ability. You want guys who are not afraid to take it low, aggressive golfers who are going to go at pins, and just guys who you like in birdie fest. And if you want to get into the details of the golf course stats, I think you're wasting your time, because this event is truthfully just who has the stones to keep the pedal down for 2 rounds, and then for the other 2 rounds, play it safe, because you can easily shoot 63 in round 1 when they play 4-ball, and then 79 in round 2. We see it every single year because that alt shot format is definitely tough. One miss swing from your partner just screws you, and then it just like it's just bad. So just ability to take it low, birdie makers, and then guys who have similar style games match well.
Yeah, and because I do think, I usually only single bullet this event. I'll pick like one team, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet this year. I'm definitely going to be more focused on LIV this week, if I'm being honest. But the best ball rounds, most of the teams kind of shoot roughly, like the good teams kind of shoot around the same scores. Like it's hard to like distance yourself in the best ball. Like even there was that year that Cantlay and Xander shot like infinity under par in the best ball, and they still ended up being kind of close because the alt shot, like it's really the alt shot that wins or loses the tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah, last year, the unserious golfers Davis Riley and Nick Hardy won the event, but they played like all 4 rounds like even. They played like they didn't go crazy in the 4 balls.
64,
they just like
66, 63, 65. That's actually that's kind of surprising.
It's very impressive, honestly, like how they were able to just do that. Usually it's like staggered. They have the teams will just go really low in the 1 round and just like be around par in the other rounds, and then really low in the 4 balls, and then just around par in round 4.
Want to know what I like in this event? Driver putter. I like driver putter in this event because, like, when I think, that's not necessary. That's Nick Hardy. Nick Hardy's for sure driver putter guy. And Davis Riley sucks at golf, so we don't even know what he is. That's my other beef with this event. I've had a take since almost he started on the first, when people started betting Davis Riley every week at like 35-1. I said this guy's will be back on the Corn Ferry Tour before long. He should be, but it got ruined because they counted this event as a win. So I'm still upset about that. I will be honest. I do have beef with Davis Riley. But 64, 66, 63, 65, even level of play. The guys next to them, like Hadwin, to me, he's not a distance driver, but he is a driver putter guy, and that he's strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained with his putter. Like that's his.
Yeah, bet him last year. So
yeah. And then obviously Windy was there before. Windy is Windy. Bo Hostler, obviously Xander and Pat, but they're so much better than the other golfers. Like that doesn't really count, but they're still kind of driver putter guys to some extent. And then the year before, I remember Higo was in the mix. And if Higo's in the mix, we're talking driver putters. If Higo's in the mix,
Higo was with was he with Charles?
Was he with he wasn't with Rye, but Rye was in the mix too. 2022 Zurich Classic leaderboard.
I think he was with another South African.
Stand by.
But he's with Fox this year, and that's driver putter for sure.
Oh, he was with Brandon Grace, and then the other guy who I was thinking of was Aaron Rye was mixing with David Lipsky.
Yes, so, like, dude, they were.
I would say it's driver putter.
I was flagging everything that week.
Third place that year, Sam Ryder and Doc Redman. So I would say, like, ultimately, to your point with the birdies, like you're gonna have to make putts, like that's a key. But like, there also have been just some like BSBs, like Aaron Rye, David Lipsky is a BSB combination if I've ever heard one. And if you're not, I'll say to some. I'm sure there's people listening who don't know what we're saying when we say BSB. Ball striking bastard. That's how we describe someone who legit not actually good at golf, but a phenomenal ball striker. So BSBs.
Yeah, that's gonna lead me right into my first bullet. BSB Andrew Novak and BSB Davis Thompson. Two golfers that have made noise over the last 2 years, have gotten into the mix and never really gotten over the hump. But they play a fairly similar style of golf, should be comfortable with the pairing, and they're both hungry to get that. Not that the Zurich Classic, it could be a launching pad of future success, but it just gets you into so many more events. Like there was absolutely no reason why Davis Riley and Nick Hardy were in some of these signature events, but like they were. And Novak and Thompson know that. So I love that pairing. I'm probably going to bet him around 50-1.
Because like I'm about to scroll through the screen, and it's gonna be my first time learning about a lot of.
I love that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, but I love that Davey T and BSB Novak. I mean, yeah.
Novak's been a uber popular golfer like this year. Everyone's been betting Novak, and he's came through infinite top 10s in a row. Like I'm down.
Yeah, I like that. And I will say, like, I know that the more I look at this, I'm going to want to bet a full card. I'm certain of it. We'll see. We'll still see. Obviously, Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, top of the board. So they're plus 450. Who do you think is Scottie's he's been plus 450?
Yeah.
Obviously, Scottie already won the tournament, so we've got to try to detach that. But like, Cantlay, Xander at this event or Scottie in a normal event at plus 450, like, are they the same? Is one better than the other?
Scottie, there's too many variables here, and I just think there's still a way that that Xander and Pat will trip over themselves and do something stupid like they usually would do in a regular event. So I would go with Scottie at plus 450 over these guys.
Speaking of Cantlay, Xander, do you have any statement on Xander after last week's bet? Do you have an update on how you feel about him?
He was second in the field in putting, and he lost strokes ball striking. I'm not sure how to be mad, if I could be mad, but of course, Xander puts up his worst ball striking effort of the season when I decided to back him at 11-1. No real thoughts, like not really mad. I don't know.
I just my response would be, and again, I had nobody even close to
11-1. So like, yeah, it's horrible.
I just think Xander, it's like we've got to put a line in the sand that like 18, maybe around 18-1, you just can't even think about doing it, because the green is going to suck you in under 18-1. And
yeah,
like
green.
I think we need to set right here, right now for both of our benefit. I would say 18-1. Do you think 16? Like, where should we put? We will not bet Xander below this line.
No, it's probably. Let's just say even 15.
Okay.
I think we should hand up that.
I personally am going to say 18, and I could come to 16, but we'll talk about it. We'll see, because 15 still, it's like, I guess at 15 you can still have a few. It's all about, you need more guys on your card because Xander's not going to win. So it's about just having more room on your card for other guys. But they're plus 450. I'm good on that as well. Rory and Shane or Willie Z and Teagues, which of those combos would you be feeling better about?
Definitely the latter. I just think they're younger, more hungry, more birdies in that group. I can't trust Shane to not go out in Bourbon Street. Who knows what he's doing? And Rory's still not hitting any irons. But I mean, that team could be dangerous in the foursomes when they play alt shot.
Here's my
Rory
question:
driving, Shane approach
with Willie Z and Teagues will Zal be? I guess Zal has the right miss, so he'll be. I was going to say Teagues is going to hit some off the planet, I would assume. Like, even he's driving it better, but he still will have one or two. Like, that's Teagues' game. Will Zal be used to playing from where Teagues makes him play from?
That's what I was saying. Like, we're gonna have to get to 30 plus under, and I don't know if I trust Zal to even. I know Zal's not going to be hitting every putt, and Teagues is a great putter, but I don't know if I even trust any part of that Zalatoris minus 30.
Yeah.
30.
I will say Zal putted a little bit better this week. He just made so many mistakes. He could have, like, he would go on nice little runs where he'd be 3 under through like 6 holes, and then he'd mess it up.
Yeah, he messed up on Friday, I think. He was like
he got up
around the top 10, and then he made a double.
I think he got up to second. Yeah. Friday morning, I was like checking, and then he messed it up. Colin and Kurt, boys from Vegas. Weird. They're boys in Vegas. I think that's why.
And Cali too.
Yeah, so that's why they're doing this. I don't like 16-1 though for them. I don't
for Kurt. Yeah,
Kurt's not a birdie fest guy.
No. And Collins had 2 good weeks of golf. I'm 16.
They're there to vibe in New Orleans because New Orleans is the Vegas of the East. So like they're there to have fun and a good time. I would say I think this is going to be a popular pairing. I think there's going to be takes on both sides. I will say right here, right now, I am in on the Højgaard pairing because want to know who can make a fuck ton of birdies?
Rasmus motherfucking Højgaard.
Yeah.
Yep.
If Nikolai is just bombing it from the tee, I mean, Rasmus sends it from the tee too. Like, Rasmus is a great putter, top 10 putter in the world, in my opinion. I like this pairing at 22-1. And I like, and plus, like, on a purely vibes, like, I like the Højgaards. They might be my favorite pairing in the whole group. So I'm biased here. This could be affecting my opinion on them because I like them personally. But I think it's a sick combination. And they're legitimate brothers. Like, how much closer could you possibly be?
Yeah, no one knows each other's games better than them two. And I'm worried with how poorly Nikolai's been hitting the ball. But, like, that's just they fit the bill to just get scorching hot. And Nikolai can get hot with the putter, too. We've seen it. But Rasmus is always lights out with the putter, whereas Nikolai's a better ball striker this far. And honestly, I think that's going to lead me into Parker and Pearson Cutie because they are playing together, polar opposite golfers, ball striking bastard Parker and great short game player Pearson. I think they're a similar team to that, but just at way bigger odds.
Yeah, Parker was striping it down in Corrales. He was playing with Billy, so I got to see some of him. Billy was hitting him with the bud. You know how Billy at the Memorial, everybody was talking about him and Aaron Wise. Like, he was like, "Go ahead, bud. Go ahead, finish out, bud." So that's my Parker Cootie note from this weekend to see who was flushing down there in Corrales. I did have eyes on it. The Fitzes, I mean, who do you like more? The Højgaards, the Fitzes? It sounds like you like the Cooties potentially the best, but I don't know about the Fitzes.
Honestly, I think I do like the Fitzes. They played it well in this event last year, and now Alex has a whole year of professional golf under his belt. Last year he had like none. He was just coming out of college and playing. And the thing is, they want to win this event. I don't know if you watched last season at Full Swing. Matt is going to do whatever he can to like help his brother get to this next level. Like, they're here to win. They're not here to like fuck around. Whereas some teams could definitely be here to fuck around.
I'm just not convinced. And I know he played good at the Open. I'm not convinced Alex Fitz is a good golfer yet. I don't know. His ball striking stats on the DP are a tough scene. Like, he is a good short game. So, I mean, but in the sense that, like, the importance of them winning, because if you win, you get all these perks, and obviously that brings Fitz over. So, vibes, I agree. I just don't know if I trust Fitz as a golfer. These next crew, Hoge, McNealy, Mav's your boy. Hoagie's been striping. Hoge played good last week. I like that more than Pendy Connors for sure.
Yeah, right? And I think that I like that Hoge has someone to drive it for him because this dude is a liability with a driver now. You see the drive hit on 18. I know it was into 30-mile-an-hour winds yesterday, but he hit it. It's what 18 at Harbor Town is. The objectively the easiest fairway to hit.
Yeah.
He hit it, I would say, a good 800 yards right over everything. And
like the trees
on the hole. Over everything on the right, like over the bleachers, over the trees.
Hoge made a 9.
A 9 to have it. He was top. He was like
on
top
18.
5.
Hoge made a 9. Yes. I legitimately because I didn't
made a 9.
I didn't watch as soon as they suspended play. I stopped. I like went out. I was like doing stuff, and then I didn't wake up to, or like I wasn't interested in watching this morning. But that's insane.
He was gonna have a paycheck, a massive finish in an elevated event. Made a 9. Missed a 4-footer for an 8, and oh man, that was pathetic. But also, real quick, back to Harbor Town. Can we just mention can I talk about it? Pat Cantlay's decision on 18 last night, or
I saw you tweeting about it, and this because RBC is Cantlay's Masters, we have to break down everything that he did. So yes, I will set aside right now free time for a Patrick Cantlay RBC statement.
I just think seeing that was everything I needed to know about Patrick Cantlay. At first I thought he just wanted to get out of there.
Well, describe it for people. I didn't see it. Like, so
okay. They're playing 18 yesterday. Everyone's playing 18 after the break in the worst of weather. Horrible conditions, 30-mile-an-hour breeze into their face.
And the weather had been good all week. Like, the weather had been perfect all week.
Good all week. So Patrick Cantlay hits his drive when after the horn blows, he could have just played 18 in the morning. Whatever, I get you want to get out of there. Fine. So he hits his drive, fine drive. He's got like 211 into the green, but it's blowing so hard. Every person needs to hit a 3-wood. So Patrick Cantlay hits a beautiful draw. Looks like it's going to be on it, but it's short. It's like on the lip of it's like on the fringe and the lip. So he's on the green already. In the worst of the weather, he could have just played the hole in the morning, had a chance to make a birdie or tap in par. Just like, all right, I'm going to mark it now. He's greenside. I'm going to mark it now. Sleep on that. He needs to hit one shot that's all but meaningless, and he sleeps on that. was like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, it makes no sense. It literally makes no sense at all, especially because like as soon as he started playing the hole, when I heard about this situation, you were like texting or tweeting about it. I was like, oh, he must just want to leave because like fuck this,
Right.
I'm out.
Which is fine.
Which is fine. But then to stop, mind blowing.
Mind blowing. I mean, he ended up making the par, but still crazy, absurd,
insane stuff. I do feel like though, Pat seems like a guy who wakes up really early. So I bet he was like I don't. He probably might not even thought about it. He just seems like a guy who wakes up super early. He's like, I'll just go finish the golf and then head off to wherever. Oh, he's going down to New Orleans.
To New Orleans, yeah.
Would you go back to your Canadian duo of Taylor and Hadwin? Obviously, Taylor's just playing great.
Yeah, and I think them two playing together, they're gonna try their balls off to get in Mike Weir's good graces. This
Prez
potential
Cup I love that
Prez Cup season, like these. Taylor's on the team, whereas Hadwin probably not, but he could. I mean, a win here, plays great with. Yeah, hey, I just won the golf tournament with my fellow Canadian. Prez Cup season, all for that take.
And I mean, Pendy and Connors.
Higo and Fox.
See, like I knew he would enjoy this pod. I was like, this is going to be a fun one. I'm only looking at DraftKings odds because we're not putting the odds up on Golf.com and Sarix this week. Like the amount of like data work to make the odds up for this team event, not worth it. So we're not doing it. We'll have LIV up there, obviously. So check out the LIV odds. But Connors and Pendy at 28 versus Hadwin and Taylor at 40. It's Hadwin and Taylor for me every single time. Ever like it's not a conversation.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Want to know who's going to make some putts? Who do you think? What team do you think I'm going to say? Because this might be the best. We're on Bermuda. This might be the best putting combination I've ever seen. It's all they do. It's the only skill that they have as golfers. They're in the 40 range.
I'm not looking at the odds. I'm looking at the teams. I don't know. Who is it?
Taylor Montgomery and Ben Griffin. Those guys are going to be putting the lights out. And like, if there was a combination in the Hardy, Davis, Riley, like not good golfers,
golfers,
but like could win, and they're the same guys. Monty and Ben Griffin.
They're gonna have hybrid into every hole and just hope to make it like infinity putts.
If there was a way to bet the putting markets of this tournament, like let me know because I max bet on all putting related things for that team. Sepp and Bryce Garnett's kind of interesting. Obviously, Sepp played good last week, and Bryce Garnett he won right down in
Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico.
How did Daniel Berger and Victor Perez come together?
Oh, everyone knows they're best boys. That was an absurd. What are their odds?
45.
Horrendous odds.
Yeah.
What are the odds on Thomas Dietrich and Bob Mack?
I was just about to say
playing the par fives for Thomas Dietrich.
So again, I've only got the DraftKings odds, so there's probably better numbers out there, and there probably will be. But at 45 on Tommy Dietz and Bobby Mack, driver putter for sure. But you also get some BSB from Bobby Mack. So I do really like the Tommy Dietrich Bobby Mack team. There's a good chance that I'll be trying to find the best number and getting away.
This event is going to be so good. What are we thinking? This event is going to be so good.
And the random Euro of the week, you get two of them, Dietrich and Bobby Mack. And your boy Seamus Power was up there last week. Great call on random Euro of the week last week. Seamus was in the mix.
He couldn't. The back nine ate him alive, but he played good everywhere else.
So I really like that team. Tommy Dietz and Bobby Mack. I'm trying to look at some of the other team. Hostler and Ryder. Ryder's played good here, and Hostler's played good here. They're 50-1.
Ryder's been really bad, but like I don't think it matters. What did he finish at Corrales? I know he could have missed a cut. No, he finished T43, but he's just been.
Yeah, he's trying.
I mean, he's never a good golfer, but he's been playing really bad.
But when I think about just making a ton of birdies for no reason, Sam Ryder. And he's played good in this event. What else do we got going on here? There's Ryan Lipsky. We just talked about them. They're heading back out there. Oh, this is sick. Andrew Putnam and Joe Highsmith. Want to know their combination?
Joey Bucket hats? Pepperdine. And
Washington, Tacoma. Like they're grew up the same area. So they go way back. Putnam and Highsmith probably have known each other since like teenage, maybe even like elementary age. I don't know that for sure. But I know that like their families in this area.
I bet Highsmith like looked up to him when he was in high school. Because Bucket Hat is only 22.
And Joey's playing good golf.
Yeah.
And Putnam makes
easy golf courses.
Yeah, there we go. An inside 50-1, but I'm sure there's better numbers. An inside tip right there. That's why you get that's the Vince Eric's difference, the inside connection there between Putnam and Highsmith. So if they win and I wasn't on them after giving this take right here, I think I have to bet him at this point because I grew up 20 minutes from. I played golf against the Highsmiths growing up. So
really,
I got it. I think I got to bet it. It's a Camp Davis situation. Seattle. We got to represent our golfers. We don't have many. We don't have a lot. Ryan Moore. Yeah. There's another one we gave him. What's up at players? Eckroat and Gotterup.
Gotterup. Yeah, I do like that team. They can both make birdies in different ways. Eckroat will play at every fairway. Gotterup was going to bomb and gouge. Streaky with the putter. I definitely like that team. What do we got? 50, 60?
65.
That's on the card. That's already on the card.
Gary Woodland, Lee Hodges. That's quite a combination. But yeah, Hoge and Fox. Want to know who can make birdies? Ryan Fox. He's not been playing. He's been playing terrible. But he mixed at the Masters for a few minutes, and Higo's mixed here before. And obviously, we've been high on Higo. We've been talking to Higo all year that he's going to at some point do something.
It's a perfect event for him to break through in.
What about, so who do you like the most of these three? They're all 65-1. Higo, Fox, Thor Olesen, and Matty Walls, or T. Moore and Matty Neesmith?
The first team. Well, T. Moore and Matty Neesmith is kind of sick. But I'll go with the first team. I'm high on Higo, Fox, and Higo.
If this tournament was being played at Innisbrook, T. Moore and Matty Neesmith would be like 2-1. It'd be it'd be the easiest money that we've ever made. Now we're into the truly like random.
What are the odds on Thirsty Law and Aldrich Potts?
That's a team. That's so sick.
Yeah.
That is the funniest thing I've ever heard actually in my entire life. So they're 130-1, but like
horrendous number.
Aldrich Potts is good. Like
Aldrich Potts is good.
He crushed the Corn Ferry. Like he's already earned it. Like he's going to be on tour next year. He won.
Yeah.
He was a sick amateur. Like he won a ton as an amateur. He's really, really good. People are saying that because when you follow the DP, there's always a lot of good South African players that play on the DP. That
talk about Press Cup duo.
Yeah. If Thirsty Law and Aldrich Potts win the Zurich, and they're both not on the President's Cup team, it would be
riots
in the streets. Riots in the streets of South Africa. Over
Cape Town may burn down again.
Wow. Who is Eric? Eric Cole is 100
with like his caddy's dad.
He's 150 to who is Russ Cochran? Like for Eric Cole to be 150-1 in this event, this Russ Cochran guy must be terrible. Like, who is this guy?
Legit, I think it's like his caddy's dad or some like family friend. I'm not even. He's like wants to get him out there. Like they're definitely going to Bourbon Street. Like fade him a matchup if you can. I probably can.
This is a sick team. I'm betting this team 1,000%. You bet him last week. Jimmy Stangs and ADDC driver putter. They'll be sending it from the tee.
I like the second to last team I wrote up. I definitely like that team for sure.
I've gone from genuinely being like not excited about doing this pod or not excited about this tournament in any way, shape, or form to tomorrow I'm going to be spending today's my birthday, like we've been saying. So like I can't spend my birthday diving into Zurich. I have like too much pride in my I want to deep down, but it's like I can't do that. But tomorrow I'm going to be digging in, and I'm going to take this week seriously, I think, because these teams are hilarious.
We need to talk about Billy Horschel. He fucks here hard
with
playing Tyson A. They both live in Ponte Vedra.
Tyson A mixed at Houston a couple years ago. He's got game, like he could do it, but I think Billy Ho needed something for his season because like he's not in the good events. He wasn't in the majors, like stuff like that. He got that at Corrales for the most part. If he hadn't won Corrales, I think he'd be taking this week super seriously. But I think
Corrales doesn't give him everything.
It doesn't give him everything. That's for sure. No. But he was pissed at Sam Burns for having a kid because him and Burns usually play together. Like, and they're a good combination.
Dude, they're good.
They would probably be my bet if they'd
be 20-1 for sure this week.
Oh yeah, they'd be.
Yeah, I bet them in every team event. Like every one that they've played in.
But he gave a quote. He was like, I'm joking, but also like Sam Burns screwed us by like not letting us play Zurich because they've been close to winning. They'd be my pick. So that's my pick.
What are the odds on Smalley Schmid?
I forgot to mention Smalley, your boy, family friend of yours, Alex Smalley. I know you're tight with their family now, so I was excited to see him playing good down at Corrales because it's been a terrible year for Smalley. And now that you're boys with him, like I want all the guys that we have like because we're starting to become. We have a few guys like we're starting to, we see them, we talk to them, or their family or whatever. Smalley's one of them for you, so I want Smalley to play good this year. He's with Matty Schmidt at 100-1.
That is a great number. Schmidt has been playing so good the last 2 months. Ended up backdooring a top decent finish. They both finished top 15 at Corrales, and Alex Smalley is in danger of losing his PGA Tour card. They're going to be pedaled down this week.
I like that because Smalley to me is the same ilk of golfer as Davis Riley or Nick Hardy. I wouldn't say that those guys are better talents than Alex Smalley.
Yeah, no, I 100-1. I thought they were going to be more in like the 70s range. I'm down for that.
Yeah, I mean Schmidt's been playing really good, and want to know whose driver putter is Matty Schmidt.
Right,
and he's. I will say the thing that was I didn't do that much research last year, but I saw people who picked Hardy and Riley, and they were saying why they picked them. They were saying that around the green play doesn't matter as much this week because obviously in the best ball rounds around the green doesn't matter at all. Schmidt is a guy who sucks around the greens. That is his big weakness. Sorry, and he was T26 here last year, so yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have the vibiest card this week.
Yeah, I'm building a card because I'm not that scared of the teams at the top, like Xander, Pat, and
no. I'm more scared of Willie, but even then, Willie speaks. But
and Xander and Pat didn't even win last year when they were clearly I feel like there's better combinations this year than there was last year, top to bottom.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so that's a Zurich. Yeah, I guess be on the lookout. And Sarah's get excited. Let's try to keep the streak of winners going because we've been hot. We've
this past 2 months.
I had Krause here. The week before the Masters, we had Valero and Liv. You hit Stevie Eggs before that, and so we've been hot. I'd love to keep it going. So maybe we got about the Zurich. Try to keep the vibes going, keep something good happening there. And we do have Liv this week, which I'm excited about. LIV Adelaide, probably one of the most popular LIV events, I would say, based on the crowds they got down there last year. And I think that Australian golf is a real thing. Obviously, it's a big thing. And it's honestly crazy that the PGA Tour never tried to take advantage of that. Some of the decisions,
so many cool courses.
Yeah. From a business, why would you not try to capitalize on the Australian market with how sick the courses are? And they do the Perez Cup, but it's December, nobody's paying attention. So LIV is not taking advantage of that. I think there was good crowds out there last year. I'm sure people are going to be excited about it this year. I think BK was saying it should be on at a time that we can watch. What time are they going to be playing?
I'm not really sure, but I feel like it. Hopefully, it'd be on 8 p.m. It would be
nighttime.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Because when the Aussie Open, because that's in December,
usually starts around 5 p.m. or 3 at low key actually.
Yeah. But because since it's LIV and they're only playing for 4 hours, they'll probably do if they did 8 to midnight. That'd be
awesome. 7 to 11.
Because then everybody can watch it. Obviously Australia, because it's in Australia, and then East Coast, West Coast. There you go. I guess Europe gets screwed, but sorry for Europe in this one. LIV Adelaide course to me is putting. Just get lights out with the putter and scramble. All the guys up top there at the top of the leaderboard. Gooch obviously had a 10-shot lead. 10 shots after 2 rounds. Is that the craziest golf lead you've ever seen?
Yeah, that's nuts. That's definitely nuts. I'm looking for the same thing. Just scorching hot with the putter and flash it with your irons. Anytime you're getting to 19 under in 3 rounds of golf, it is a fairly easy test. Birdie or better percentage. I'm just
I watched the highlights. I always watch the final round of LIV highlights at 1.75 speed, so they're just cruising along, but it helps me get vibes for the course. I was surprised because it looks and when I think of Australian golf, I think of firm and hard and the ball bounding away, down these slopes and away from the greens. Yeah. It looked so soft, and they were hitting wedges on every hole. They're getting some run off the tee and then just flipping wedges in on every single hole.
Yeah, because it's not short on the card.
It's not. I think it's
6. I saw.
Really? But they were flipping.
I could be wrong.
I think it's shorter, but I don't know for sure. But either way, based on how they played it last year, with the score is so low, flipping wedges, Gooch winning. Gooch is a bad driver and is just purely irons and putter. So to me, it's irons, putter, with the putter being the big side of that. So with that being said, LIV model this week. Let me give you some guys from the LIV model. Just I'll give you top 5. Gooch, number 1, LIV model this week. Trying to go back to back. Obviously been playing good. T. Hatton, number 2. seems like a kind of course where Hatton could play well, but he's not going to win, I don't think, because it's Hatton. Then Cam Smith, obviously, he played good at the Masters. Who's going to want to win this tournament more than Cam Smith? Then you got Jocko 4, Bryson 5. The odds are Rahm plus 600, Neiman 10-1, Cam Smith 10-1, Bryson 12-1, Hatton 12-1, Gooch 14-1. I feel like on Live, I tend to always play one guy from kind of the top of the board range, but did you tend to go a little bit down the board sometimes? And you hit Dean Burm obviously in Miami. What's your tactic on just like playing the board this week?
2 Live winners this year already, which is pretty awesome. And
we both have 2.
But only 5 events, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And we all have different winners too. No, we have DJ together.
Yeah.
We have DJ together. Yeah, honestly, I think I'm leading. I did this once on the pod already. I think I'm going single B Rahm for narrative streets. And he is leading actually second in the field in greens and regulation percentage and first in birdies made. Low-key, John's been awesome in birdie fetch over the last 2 years. And I think after the Masters, he was so visibly disappointed. Like, I need to freaking win. I need to get my name back in the world of golf because he looked so mad. And he actually gained strokes ball striking in the Masters field. But I was really just wanted to see how these live golfers fared in because the live strokes gained are truthfully not real. They played in a PGA Tour event. Rahm gained strokes. It wasn't anything crazy, but he didn't play great. He gained strokes, though, ball striking. Good to see. Whereas Cam Smith lost infinity strokes, ball striking, and made everything in Cam Smith fashion. So I'm going to go with Cam Smith. I mean, John Rahm, single bullet, I think.
I would say, honestly, between those two, I think I'd go Cam Smith. Just because, I think this is a place where you just need to black out with the putter. And I don't, even if Rahm or somebody else, good ball striker, is ball striking it 25% better than Cam Smith, 50%, way better.
He could still make the putts.
He might be putting from 12 feet for birdie and they're putting from 8 feet or 7 feet. I trust Cam Smith to make every putt that he looks at. So I don't know if I'm going to go top of the board, but I will take the other side. I'll take the Gooch or the Cam Smith in the Rahm Smith head-to-head. Neiman.
What's Gooch's odds? Are you feeling Gooch this week?
He's 14.
I bet him at Miami and he was there.
He was there. And I just don't understand why Gooch's odds are a lot higher than, or they tend to be. Sometimes he was because he was 20-1 at Live Miami. He mixes almost every tournament.
Oh yeah, he had a
10-shot lead after 2 rounds of this tournament last year.
He's the second, I think, most consistent golfer on Live this year. Maybe third. Neiman has 2 wins, but Rahm's the only one to finish inside the top 10 in every event. But Gooch is right behind him. He's back 3 or 4 straight top 6. So I'm down for Gooch.
The price sucks, but he also was looking sick in the highlights, and he's been playing great. And this is the perfect type of course for him. Louis Oosthuizen. Want to know who absolutely fucks with their wedges and their putter? Louis Oosthuizen. So
no, I'm down.
The problem is he's 20. I'm only looking at FanDuel here. We will have the odds up on Zurich soon for Live with the model, but 20-1 is tough. Lucas Herb, home game for Lukey Herbs, but 20 Luke
putter.
He gets hot with the putter for sure. Luke Herbs is the same odds as DJ and below Brooks and Sergio.
Let's get a matchup. Let's get a matchup. I can't trust. He's not been good on Live.
No, that's insane. 20. What? I get he's Australian, but Luke Herb's odds equal to DJ and below Brooks, Sergio, Abe Answer, Dean Burns, Paul Casey. That's crazy. That's really crazy.
That is insane.
And want to know who just played good last tournament and is from Australia and can fuck with the putter and is 41-1? Mark Leishman. Why is Herbs no better at golf than Mark Leishman?
I agree. No, I totally agree.
And Leash played good in. How do you think about Neiman? Because Neiman won down here in.
On DP. Beat my boy Hoshino in a playoff. He
remember Kuyu paid you back off a few weeks later.
A few weeks after. Yeah, Neiman had a crazy Sunday. He was a lot back, and he came from behind on Sunday. Golf course makes sense. Just hit those low stingers and then let them run out in these fairways and then get hot with the putter. Which is odds probably 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I really do think I'm going with the Rahm, even in a birdie fest. I just think he's determined.
What I will agree with you on Rahm is that he's a birdie fest guy who also obviously can play good in any event, but anyone who's winning the Amex, even Scottie didn't play that good. Scottie doesn't play that good at Amex. It's just that's a true birdie fest. So I agree with that. I'm looking down this board. One who played good here when I was looking at the old leaderboards, Scam Tringali, your boy, 65-1.
Damn. I know. I need about Torrey Pines.
Yeah, I think especially with how many birdies you need to make here,
Don't trust them.
It's got to be some of the like top names. Like they're just, if you can putt. Here's a guy. His numbers short game were insane at Augusta. He's never won on LIV. Patrick Reed. He played good here.
He played good here last year. Yeah,
31 on. He's just so much further down the board than some of these guys.
That was the reason I bet him. I bet him at Doral, and he was close. He almost won Doral, but he didn't almost win, but he was like there.
Yeah, and he has good course history at Doral too, and like he played to his course history, which he has.
He's been not putting great on LIV this year, but I mean, he's Patrick Reed. That could definitely turn.
But like at Augusta, his stats at Augusta are insane. He gained 4.4 putting and 5.2 around the greens, and he gained on approach. And this is
how much did he lose off the tee?
1.5, 1.6. But that's not going to matter here. And he played good here before. It's like I just don't get why he is in the 30s and when all these other guys.
I agree.
So that's interesting to me. I might sling some P. Reed. I almost certainly will bet P. Reed. Actually, I think because he was T12 at Masters, T9 LIV Miami, and he played the International Series, whatever that is. He was fourth. He's been playing good. And like, how has Patrick Reed not got a win yet on LIV?
On LIV, I know. I bet him a decent amount of times too, and I feel like it's just a matter of time, but hasn't came to fruition yet. Maybe this could be the week.
Is he won? I guess he won Century. That's Birdie Fest. So if you can win Century, then you can win here. Another Birdie Fest for your boy John Rahm as well, and Cam Smith. Like, I think there's only a handful of guys to like. I think for me, it might be one guy from the top, like a 10, 12 to 1 range, and then P. Reed. But get over to Vince Eric's. We'll obviously have the write-ups there. As you said, we've been hot on LIV. 4 combined winners so far this year.
Out of what, five or 6 events?
Yeah, and I had Paul Casey, who lost in a playoff in Hong Kong. So tough beat there. So yeah, we've been good on LIV this year. Let's try to keep it going. And yeah, I'm going to dig into this Zurich Classic because it ended up being a little bit more tasty than I expected. And then yeah, and then we'll go from there. Matt,
let's do it.
Last words.
Excited for the week. 3 events. We didn't talk about the third event, but we got the Handa.
The ISPS. I think maybe that's why Luke Herbs is so low. He won that event last year. So it's
in a bar.
Yeah, same week combination there for Luke Herbs. Yeah, DP back this week as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As I said, like and subscribe. We will be back next week. It is the Byron at Nelson, I believe, next week. Jers down there in Dallas. All right. Talk to you all later.
Peace out.